Did the canceled podcast really come to an end because Tana Mongeau decided she was done with the negativity? Or did the entire thing crumble under the weight of private friend group drama? The kind of drama that doesn't just play out on a microphone, but in social media unfollows, cryptic TikTok posts, and birthday gifts that feel more like inside jokes than sweet gestures. For months, fans have been dissecting every little move from Tana, Brooke Schofield, BB, and Ashley Schwan, trying to piece together who's still friends with who, and who's quietly throwing shade from the sidelines. Today, we're diving deep into the timeline, the rumors, and the subtle moments that could mean way more than they seem. Because if you thought ending a podcast was the big story, you might want to stick around. What happened after makes the contract drama look like the calm before the storm. When the announcement dropped that Canceled would be ending early, the internet went into overdrive. People had already sensed something was off between Tana and Brooke. Small, awkward moments on camera, a shift in their banter, and an absence from each other's feeds. Then there was Brooke's own controversy. Her engagement had attracted waves of negativity online, the kind that can easily seep into work projects. Officially, Tana said the decision came from her. She didn't want to finish out the contract, which was set to end at the close of the year. She described feeling mentally drained, needing space from constant online backlash, and no longer wanting to sit down every week to rehash drama that she'd rather move past. On the surface, it sounded reasonable, but as fans pointed out, Tana's exit also spared both women from months of tension in the public eye, and that left everyone asking, what really pushed it over the edge?
Seeing people say the most vile shit. I think I needed that stark contrast of being in Hawaii and really thinking about my life and going from peace for it to be so black and white for me. Now I have to come home and I have to sit on this couch and I have to talk about all these things that I don't want to talk about, just to further a conversation, to then have more you know what I mean? Just this.
Yeah, to invite more of what you're trying to get away from. And
I don't know. I think that I was looking at the embodiment of strength being seeing this contract through. And I came to the conclusion that I don't want to see this contract through.
Mm-hmm.
And and then I go online and I see all these edits of us once just so.
Dude, the one that, the one.
Yeah, because it's it was that, and that is the truth.
This is the most,
easy and privileged,
easy job in the world. Sitting down for an hour, that part of it is easy. Talking to each other, that part of it is easy. I love that aspect of the job. It is mentally just so exhausting and taxing. And
the podcast ending wasn't the only sign of cracks in the group. Around the same time, eagle-eyed fans noticed that Brooke and her longtime friend BB had unfollowed each other. And not just unfollowed, but fully blocked. BB's tags on Brooke's photos disappeared overnight, fueling theories that Brooke had been the one to hit the block button. Naturally, speculation ran wild. The easiest explanation was something Brooke had said on the podcast, that BB was fired from her role as Brooke's assistant during a European tour, but BB quickly denied that version of events, jumping into the comments on TikTok clips to insist she had chosen not to continue for the Australia leg. That should have been the end of it, but BB's feed told a different story. Her posts were suddenly full of pointed, reflective quotes about loyalty, feeling unappreciated, and cutting off people who don't value you. It wasn't hard to read between the lines. While the assistant story was the public explanation, fans had another theory, one that hinted at something far more personal. BB's string of cryptic reposts about betrayal and taking a step back lined up with whispers that the falling out might have involved Brooke's relationship. TikTok sleuths began matching BB's posts to certain events, suggesting they weren't about the podcast or tour at all, but about something that happened off camera and in private. And yet, the plot thickened when BB popped up in Tana's TikTok comments, joking about a pair of kids' shoes Tana had accidentally ordered. That tiny interaction seemed innocent, but in drama culture, it was a signal. BB's issue was clearly with Brooke, not the entire group. If the tour firing wasn't the root cause and Tana was still on good terms with BB, then fans were left with one burning question. What exactly happened between BB and Brooke that no one's spelling out? Then came Ashley Schwan's birthday gift to Tana, a custom Guess Who board game featuring their entire friend group. Every square was a familiar face, but one picture stood out, Brooke's. It wasn't flattering, it wasn't neutral. It looked deliberately awkward, and people online were quick to call it mean-spirited. Even those who didn't care for Brooke admitted it crossed a line, especially considering the tensions already swirling around the group. When asked, Ashley admitted that she doesn't like Brooke and added, "That's okay." To fans, this wasn't just casual honesty. It was a public confirmation of a divide. And given how every move in this friend group gets magnified, that One birthday gift became another chapter in the saga. The drama wasn't just happening on podcasts or through cryptic quotes anymore. It was embedded in the games, the gifts, and the social media comments, where the subtext spoke louder than any direct statement. Facing mounting comments, Ashley addressed the Guess Who drama in a YouTube video. She downplayed it, saying the game was meant to be funny and that everyone got a goofy photo, not just Brooke. But she also made it clear that she and Brooke have never been close. They've never hung out one-on-one, she said, and some people just don't click. Still, the internet wasn't buying that it was all lighthearted, especially when Ashley went on to address a long circulating theory that her dislike for Brooke stems from the Mindy situation. When Brooke allegedly hooked up with someone Tana liked, Ashley claimed her own similar incident with Tana was a misunderstanding, handled privately, whereas Brooke's was intentional and public. She stressed the difference in intent, but the subtext was hard to miss. She viewed Brooke's move as crossing a line, and in a group where loyalty is currency, that kind of label sticks.
Talk about beef, right? There was, a clip on TikTok that went viral of the Guess Who board game that I made. Little Miss Spill Sesh, love you, girl. People are saying that this photo was me. What you didn't see was the 70 other photos of people in the game. The game is meant to be funny, so there are funny photos of quite literally everyone in it. But of course, our main friend group is just mogging, I had to do like the 12 of us or however many are on the front of the game. Like, we look, dare I say, cunt. I put in her photo and it came out like that and I was like, oh, that's funny. So the only people that are really mad about it is people on TikTok. But yeah, all the drama is just on the internet, not off the internet. And of course, there's always been people asking, why don't you guys like each other? Why do you hate her? This and that. It really does seem like people are like, oh my God, these best friends had a falling out. But like, we were never best friends. I would see her because she would hang out with my friends. Me and her have never hung out alone. And I don't know why that's such a big issue. Like, there's so many people in the world that don't click, And I am one of those people where I kind of know upon meeting someone if I'm gonna love them forever or they're just gonna be, another character in my life. You have best friends. You've had people you don't like. And a lot of people are saying like, oh, you don't like her ever since the Mindy situation when you guys did the same thing. First of all, because it's more serious than that, Well, you don't know. I'm getting anxiety talking about it. I'm like, ew. People say that they don't like me because we did the same thing, but trust me, the intent behind each situation was different, and also we're two different people. There's really no reason to compare us. One was on purpose, and one was miscommunication upon other things
that were worked out off camera.
It's not like me and her are best friends and it's like, oh, which one do you like better? It's just like, that's a whole different person that has a whole different life than mine. We hardly cross paths ever, like maybe once a year, So I just wanted to set that straight. Hopefully this helped.
By this point, it wasn't just about one fight or one awkward gift. The Tana Mongeau friend group has built a reputation for very public falling outs. From unfollows to shade-filled subtweets, every shift in the lineup plays out like an unscripted reality show. The Guess Who controversy, the blocking, the TikTok reposts, they all fed into the narrative that no one in this circle is truly safe from becoming the next target. And because they're all public figures with overlapping fan bases, even a small change in who's pictured together, who comments on whose post, or who gets mentioned in a podcast becomes headline-worthy. This is the environment where rumors thrive and friendships are always under the microscope. And whether intentional or not, each public jab only cements the idea that the Tana friend group is less a friend group and more a revolving cast of frenemies, which of course keeps everyone watching. So where does that leave things? Just a few months, we've seen the canceled podcast cut short, Brooke and BB go from close to blocked, and Ashley openly confirm she's not a Brooke fan, all while Tana stays at the center of the orbit. If you take their words at face value, it's all just personality clashes, misunderstandings, and personal choices. But for anyone who's followed internet drama long enough, it's rarely that simple. The layers of shade, timing of posts, and choice of public words paint a bigger picture, one where loyalty is fragile and public perception is everything. Maybe the truth is somewhere in between the official explanations and the fan theories. Or maybe, like all great reality TV, the real story is happening off camera. So, what do you think? Is this just a case of clashing personalities, or is the Tana Mongeau friend group imploding in real time?